Some of Cloud Imperium Games' heavy-hitting devs have been interviewed about various elements and features of Star Citizen, about various ships, game mechanics, master mode drama that's been occurring in the community, the 600i rework, and more. I wanted to go over some of the juicy information that Cloud Imperium gave us from a Star Citizen Live Taking Flight episode, which was an hour long and had just a huge amount of juicy stuff in. And yeah, let's go into a bit of detail and a bit of context here. John Crew, Vehicle Director at Cloud Imperium Games, and Ben Curtis, Vehicle and Weapons Art Director at Cloud Imperium Games, joined Jared to talk about various new vehicles and upcoming features. The Crusader Spirit is in concept sale at the moment. They apologised that there were problems with inconsistent stats on the various different medias on their website, and this caused a lot of confusion in a perfect storm of everything going wrong. However, they have corrected that now. They hold their hands up. Sorry that happened. Shouldn't happen again. They wanted to add an additional bomber to the game with the A1 Spirit to give more diversity and options to more gravity and ground-specific bombing. The Hercules A2 will get different bomb options in the future, but they also wanted a smaller bomber in general. It made sense for one of the Spirit variants to be this. Bombing mechanics are still very much a work in progress, and a load of other systems need to come online, so bear that in mind. Obviously, with gravity bombs especially, they do want bases, they do want large-scale ground battles, but they also want ground defenses, air defenses, things like the Centurion and Ballista, but also sort of assume base defenses in the future. These are a huge part of countering bombers too. Bombs in-game, at the moment, have minimum armed distances and safe ranges. These are currently however, not working as intended. For example, the minimum arm distance for like an A2's bomb is, say, 50 meters. If you drop it at 45, it's not going to go off. However, you've dropped it at 45, then you move up 5 meters. Well, then it just goes off immediately. Boom! They are working to solve those issues, but obviously the work on bombs is a work in development, and as more systems come online and more balance comes into place and all that sort of jazz, more iteration work has been done on that, they will get better and better. VIP transport isn't in game yet. They have a design document for it, but no timelines for when it will be done. The Greycat STV seems pretty popular. That's that new vehicle they've just released to drivable, and it's a good all-rounder between racing and utility. CIG have changed a load of their ground vehicle speeds recently. There are some new tyre and ground vehicle handling improvements that are going to be coming online very soon that will enhance this further, and other ground vehicle changes basically are incoming. Bear that in mind. Ships and vehicles are balanced based on needs and feedback and what's happening in the current patch and all that sort of jazz. They don't purposefully plan to nerf something directly after concept and launch or whatever. They don't go, well, let's try and sell this ship by having lots of high concept stats, and then when it comes out, we'll just nerf it. John Crew took some flack based on having to make some nerfs and changes on things like the Ion and ground vehicles, but they needed to be done. They don't want something in the current meta to just go, one shot, you're dead, bam, just bump, you're done, and a lot of the time you'd be like, have I died? What's going on? Sorry? What? Is this a bug? I suppose that's a nightmare view of what the Ion could have been. But there are still changes to these sort of ships and stuff coming in the future, so don't worry like, oh my god, my ship's terrible. Why have they done this? It'll change. It'll change in the future as more systems come online. There is a mid to high tier RSI mining ship they're going to be making in the future as well. They will be fully concepting this out. They're finishing the design brief now, then it will go through the pipeline fully from concept to flyable in one big push. We don't know when it's coming out though. The layout will get done first, so this sort of internal rooms. This will then allow them to go, actually, now we know that we've got all the sort of internal rooms done, what the size and exterior of the ship will look like as well, so they build that over that. The art style and visuals will then be concepted and designed. Cloud Imperium want to clarify that ship manufacturers might evolve over their lifetime, try new styles or designs, and maybe they go a little bit out of their wheelhouse. However, there will always be bits for players to identify that a ship is a particular manufacturer. You'll go, I know that's an Anvil ship, or I know that's an Aegis ship. Talking about Aegis, originally this was potentially going to be like an aging manufacturer that only had older ships like the Gladius and that sort of stuff, and they had like lost a load of their military contracts to Anvil, and they had relied on those contracts, so they were sort of going out of business. But Cloud Imperium Games have since revived and sort of evolved the manufacturer so that they are producing new ships and concepts. That the only constant is change. Sort of bear that in mind when it comes to Cloud Imperium and the way they operate. Players' reactions to the master mode changes are varied. So this is a huge change that's going to be happening in the not too distant future. Basically, you have travel mode quantum control mode, QCM. You can cruise at high speeds in this mode, quantum travel long distances, and quantum boost short distances, but you have no weapons or shields. Yeah, they're not on. Alternatively, you can go into SCM mode, standard control mode, which is more of your combat and utility mode, and that means you've got access to your weapons, your shields, and things like tractor beams and mining lasers, if you have them, but you can't go above your SCM speed, which is sort of capped at around 300 meters per second, although you can use some of your boost resource to do that, which is limited, and to go a bit above that, but you can't go into quantum travel mode here either. You'd have to go into QCM first and then quantum travel. So this makes players have to choose what mode you're in and for what reason. If you want to fight, well, you're going to have to be in SCM speed. So this will then make running away actually pretty hard to do. So this solves things like jousting and brings combat zones much closer together. It also means that when you're fighting, you're sort of fighting, and you'll be able to see pretty ships and hopefully not crash into each other. It solves a load of the problems that Cloud Imperium have always wanted to solve, at least on paper, but it's not in player hands yet. We don't know what it's going to be like until it is. They expected that some players would be upset over these changes, but they were necessary. They're going to be going over what is happening with it in a lot more detail in the near future, which will actually clear up a lot of stuff for players, they think. The 600i, there's been some updates here. They are entirely reworking the internals of the ship. The exterior is largely left unchanged, although they are going to be moving some of the turrets and tweaking some of the weapons and that sort of stuff. You might see like changes where escape pods are and all that sort of stuff. But the 600i, they admit, fell a bit short on its release. They didn't make an effective use of its space and wanted to improve its internals, and it is a big rework. They've done a new high-level concept pass. They've worked out some floor plans, added some functionality, and improved the internal space. They want to say that the ship is not in full production yet. It is in its reconcepting phase. After that phase is done, they will then work out time, if possible, for when they can actually finish the interior changes. The captain's quarters and bridge are going to be staying pretty much the same. However, a lot of the other stuff has changed. They showed some of the changes off. Outside the crew quarters has sort of like a central living and connecting area on a split deck. This is in the middle section of the ship. The rear section of the 600Is are where the sort of modular changes that define the variants are. The ship is split across 3 decks. Let's take a look at some of the Explorer variant interior changes. So the 600i Explorer has a cargo lift area, sort of main cargo area, that can now fit a Nova tank. So you can actually take it up on the lift. The large elevator can only go to the exterior of the ship and into the main cargo area, but there's also sort of a lift to the side here that can then access different floors of the ship to move cargo between other decks as well. There's an armory for the top of the Explorer, and they haven't decided necessarily on all sort of color schemes and that sort of stuff as well, so you might see some variants here. But yeah, you've got room for your armor, a load of weapons, some sort of, I'm not sure if it's work tables or just sort of tables for sort of preparing. There is a middle deck storage room, so you can take some cargo up to here. The Cloud Imperium have also previously said that 600i was going to get some medical facilities for the Explorer variant, with at least one tier 2 bed, which would allow for respawning in it. I assume that's still the case, though those facilities were not shown nor talked about in that episode of Star Citizen Live, so bear that in mind. Let's take a quick look at the touring variant now. The back of the touring module with bar and meeting table were shown. Amazing open viewing areas and glass windows and stuff. It's really nice, really cool. They showed off a sort of large social and connecting space area with water, RPG lights apparently, so the sort of pinky purple lights you can see here can change colour, it seems. There are pools and a steam room with a water wall that looks like it can be turned on and off. Basically, this is a scaled down version of the 890 jumps facilities. That's all they were going to show us this time with the 600i, but as I said, they will be showing us more in the future. Something else to mention, Cloud Imperium's new video set, The Only Constant, which is sort of like a replica Constellation Phoenix ship interior. They're going to be using that for Inside Star Citizen Live, other video content, future Star Citizen specials, and CitizenCon, things like that. That's in their new UK studio in Manchester, which is starting to open up at the moment. They haven't got all the floors finished there, but employees are starting to come back to the office. That set as well wasn't just built for CitizenCon. It's going to be used for a wide range of video creation and live streams. Some of the videos shown at CitizenCon were filmed in August, so it's actually been quite a bit of development beyond what we have seen already. There was also even more information then given by the EUPU team, so the European Persistent Universe team. But I'm going to make that with some other stuff into its own video, otherwise I'm going to be talking here for a very, very, very long time. Boom! What do you think about the 600i updates? Are you liking the direction of what they're talking about and what you're hearing and what you're seeing? What about master modes and that sort of definite choice between travel or combat modes? Do you think that's an awesome idea or a hindrance? Are you terribly worried about how that's going to change the game? What about bombers? Are you looking forward to proper ground and air defenses? Do you think we need a huge amount more range of ships in general for all roles? Are you going to be picking up one of the Crusader Spirit line of ships? And if so, which one? Are you looking forward to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo in November with the free fly and the ship sail and the expo hall with loads of stuff to see and probably some cool updates on ships? Maybe the Banu Merchantman, maybe that will get a little bit of an update. Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Also, the Corsair. The Corsair's coming with 3.17.4 and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. That's going to be cool, right? NordCon 2952, the road to Nord 4.0. What do you want out of nordvpn.com/BoredGamer? Nord base building? Nord hunting 2.0? A dynamic Nordonomy? I'm personally looking forward to the latest Nord cruiser. In the meantime, I'm going to make do with NordVPN protecting my data from insidious space pirates and giving me unrivaled access to all the content that the internet has to offer. Use the links below. Note, NordCon 2952 does not actually exist. Also adding to my shill pile, Tobii Eye Tracker 5 gives you precise head tracking and control with your eyes. That's the sound of my eyes controlling the lasers, giving you unprecedented immersion in Star Citizen. You can basically aim lasers with your eyes. Pew pew! Use the links below and code BoredGamer for discount. Every month we have a ship giveaway for Star Citizen. For October, we're giving away a Cutlass Black with pirate skin, lifetime insurance, and Star Citizen game package. All you need to jump into the game. Just comment on any of my videos made during October to be in for a chance of winning that. If you would like to further support the channel, please consider becoming a channel member with the join button below my videos, or potentially becoming a Patreon. You'll get access to some exclusive content, and it really helps the channel out. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and have a great October.